You're keeping us alive now. You can forget about that one. And you keep them coming in. You're doing well, son.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Welcome to the show. Everyone's expecting. If you know them well, you know. Do as I say, not as I do. Welcome, friends, you know. Unity in all that we do.
Hey, welcome everybody to Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room. Today, man, as always, this show is brought to you by Operation Encore. Operation Encore is a 501c nonprofit. They help transitioning veterans transition from the military to the music career. So they give them training and help them with prepping for gigs as well as songwriting. They give them the skills that are required. So check them out over at operationencore.org. This show is also brought to you by Gunroom Radio, a station that plays nothing but music by veterans for the veterans. Today, man, we have got an awesome guest, man. Several people have reached out to me about this organization, and going through their Facebook, I can see why everybody is raving about them. So let's bring Gunnie on with Primal Outfitters.
How's it going, sir?
Hey, what's up, man?
Not too much. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm living the dream, brother. I get to breathe one more day, and the Lord let me work another day, so I'm doing good, man.
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you? What brought you into the military? I know we all can tell by the nickname that you were a Marine. And why don't you tell everybody what brought you to the military as you were growing up?
So my grandfather, for one. Sorry, I'm in a different boat slip than what I'm normally used to. It's a little quieter down in my other slip, but I got a special event going on this weekend, so my boat's been moved. So my grandfather, for one, he was the biggest inspiration and father figure I had in my life. He taught me how to hunt, how to fish, how to camp. He was a Korean War vet and a Vietnam vet. He was stationed in Korea for quite a while as well. But that man, he did everything for me in my life. He brought me to every single one of my wrestling matches. Went to every single one of my fights. I mean, he was the dad that I never had, and me and him were really, really close. Got a couple of motorcycles going behind me. Sorry about, like I said, this slip's a little bit louder than what I'm used to. But yeah, my grandfather, I knew what I wanted to do since day one. Since I came out of the womb, it was pretty much I wanted to be the best there was, and and my grandpa was in the Army, and so I had to one up him. So I joined the Marine Corps, but I wouldn't take anything less than an infantry contract. So I went through high school. I wrestled. I was a state champion wrestler, and for Michigan, quite a few different types of wrestling: Roman, Greco, freestyle, my way. I worked my way up. I mean, I started wrestling when I weighed I weighed the same amount of weight as a sack of potatoes. I started wrestling when I was 55 pounds, 50 pounds. Is what I weighed, but the lowest weight class was 55. So I started wrestling, and my grandpa he took me to every wrestling practice, everything. So and always seeing his uniform and all that, that instilled me to do what I wanted to do. I could have went to college for wrestling, and I didn't. I chose. I knew my path was to join the military, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a Marine. And my recruiter, I went through a couple of recruiters. They either had to leave because they were done recruiting or whatever, but I finally got an infantry recruiter. That's what his MOS before he was recruiting was infantry. He was a mortarman. We ended up actually serving in the same unit together. Ran
Oh,
into each other down the road a little farther. I about whooped his ass. What the hell did you get me into, dude? But no, he was a great guy, Sergeant Jenkins. He called me and was like, "Man, I got a recon contract for you. Um, it's infantry. It's what you want. You know, you can be gone in a couple of months." So I signed that contract and got out of high school, and I went through everything that I had to go through, and I ended up not being in a recon unit. I ended up being in an infantry unit. I got assigned or got sent to 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, Golf Company, gunfighters. Um, I did what I had to do there, and I was a fire team leader, and kind of earned a good and a bad reputation. Some people say good, some people say bad, but my when I was younger, my mouth got me in trouble a little bit. So,
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
um, but yeah, no, I, I got out after I got out in 2014, so I served from '09 to 14. My unit went to Afghanistan, and we didn't. We were down in Sangin, and we didn't have any KIA. A few people got shot up. A few people got blown up. Nobody died. And since we came back, I've lost 48 of the guys I served with to suicide.
Jesus.
I almost committed suicide. Well, I didn't almost. I attempted suicide twice. And I spent some time in the VA and worked through all those problems and got away from the toxic things in my life. And it was a struggle, but
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, any questions about that before I keep running my suck or?
No, man. So when did you actually come in? What year did you come in? Was it after 9/11 or before?
Oh, it was after 9/11. So I'm 32.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 32. I graduated high school in '09 and I joined the Marine Corps in '09.
Yeah, that's one thing I've definitely noticed is that there's a different breed of people that signed up after 9/11 versus prior. I came in '94, retired in 2014, and my generation came in. We were just looking for the college money, and for me, it was to take care of my family, and there was nothing going on. But Bosnia, I think, was the only thing that was really happening, and so we didn't come in knowing that we were going to go to war. We knew that there was a chance. The 9/11 guys, man, they signed up to fight. And I think
Exactly why I signed up. I lost a really close. I lost two guys, Timothy Brown, a gentleman and brother I grew up with from up north. I grew up with Timothy, and then I grew up with Gleb, and both of them were killed. And this is before my time. Gleb was killed in '06, and I'd have to revisit some things to figure out when Tim was killed. I try to keep away from those kind of things, but both of them were killed, and it pissed me off.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I was in the 3rd grade, and I watched the Twin Towers get hit on our TV in the classroom, and I mean, well, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I even remember myself, PT had just gotten over with. We were all in the middle of personal hygiene, and I was getting things ready for the work day when it happened. I was standing there in uniform and watching it on TV as it unfolded, So,
sorry, I got some friends walking up to my boat. I was just trying to tell them to be quiet.
oh,
I'm
you're
on
good,
a
man.
podcast right now, guys.
They can even hop on it as well if they want. I don't care.
No, it's all good. They're great. I've taken them out fishing. They're nurses and first responders. So they've been blessed with going. They seen my boat down. Everybody knows me in town, so they seen my boat in a different spot. So they had to come down and see what I was up to down here. So
Yeah, man. So when did you get out of the military?
I got out in 2014, September 14th.
Man, I got out in November of 2014. So yeah, we're right there, man. So tell me a little bit about when you got out. Did you get out with the intent? Because I know hunting, fishing, and outdoors was big in your life before the military. So when you got out, did you think about opening up an outfitter's business, or how did all this happen?
Not at all. I got out and I didn't know what to do. I had a wife at the time. My biggest thought was trying to support my family. So I started working in a heating and cooling company, doing heating and cooling. I did that for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, running job sites and stuff for the company. And I mean, it wasn't little job sites either. It was commercial type stuff, multifamily homes. So we had, there was 120 units, 300 units,
Yeah.
and some of the buildings that we were working on, and each of them had their own heating and cooling system. Each of them had their own condenser. It's so I was working on big projects and doing that kind of stuff, and it wasn't until later on that I had bottled so much stuff in, and then losing guy after guy and brother after brother that I had, gone places with, served in boot camp with, or just did so much stuff with it. It just started building up, and I reached a boiling point where I was right there with the guys that I had lost. And 2018, I attempted my own life. I hung myself, and I was dead. And I'm lucky that the first responders got there when they did, and they were able to revive me on my bathroom floor. And I spent quite a few months in rehabilitation and in the VA and the mental ward in the VA in Battle Creek, Michigan. And yeah, it wasn't an easy process. Something that it's not a lot of people. I'm not trying to brag about it or nothing like that.
Right.
It changed me as a human being after coming through all that stuff and opened my eyes up to a lot of different things. It's not something that I'm proud of, and it's not the answer. Taking your life isn't the answer.
Absolutely.
There's a lot. We all have a value.
Absolutely.
You got to find what that value is. Even if you think you're cashed out and there's nothing left for you, there's always something left. Your mag's not empty yet.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this a lot. Every Tuesday, I do a motivational podcast with Sugar Rose, and we've been talking about a lot about how soldiers coming out, military people coming out of the military, and we've been given a set of tools that we keep in our tool bag to get us through the military traditions, the combat, the training, stuff like that, right? And a lot of times it's our go-to emotion with that is anger. Well, when we get out and we transition and you're stripped of your identity from your job, you're now trying to find employment, and you're finding that you're going to be at the bottom of the barrel when you're used to being in charge, and life just transitions. That go-to emotion tends to still be the only tool you have in your box, which is anger.
Yep, that's something I said tonight. Is I got one feel. I'll get into this later, but kind of a little bit of an emotional night for me, and I said it a little earlier. I got one feeling left, and it's confused.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's another reason why it makes it so hard for these veterans is it's no secret. It's hit or miss with the VA. Some people have really good experiences and some people don't.
My experience wasn't the greatest, to tell you that much. I went through hell in a handbasket getting to where I am with them right now, and it still sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And that tends to be the majority, and I think it's important for people to understand is no different than when you were in the military. Your emotional health is something that you should not give up on. So when you go and you look for help and you don't find it, there's other avenues, and I think that's an amazing thing what your nonprofit's doing, what all these podcasters out here are doing is they're highlighting other avenues that people can go to, and I think that's an extremely important part, because just like you said, you're confused, and once you're confused and the only tool in your toolbox ain't working because anger is not getting you through where you need to get through anymore.
Exactly.
You start isolating, and that dark room becomes darker, and you do exactly what you explained. So yeah, I think it's important that we get that word out, that there is programs for just about every situation out there. And I may not be that guy, but I might know that guy, and that's the best way for us just to help everybody is these, as I call them, mom and pop nonprofits that are boots on ground like yourself. You're interacting with these veterans every day. You're hearing their stories and you're sharing their experiences. And that's something that the big programs like the VA, most of them don't get that.
They're missing it. They are. Yeah. They're missing it.
Yep.
I've had a lot of guys, our nonprofit's a very, very small nonprofit. I run every single trip that we go on. Yep. And we've, in less than a year of operation, October 7th is our start date for Primal. I've serviced over 300 veterans, first responders, and active duty service members and their families. Because that's something that Primal, I tried to separate, because I sat back and watched for a while, and I went to a few different things. Like what I'm going to do tomorrow it's an Operation Injured Soldier event, but the veteran has to be 30% disabled, and this hoop and just a bunch of hoops to jump through.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I mean, I respect what they're doing, and I love them. And then them guys are my brothers, and I support them, and I'm obviously a part of that event,
right?
But with what I'm doing with Primal is you can bring your best friend, you can bring your brother, you can bring your sister, you can bring your dad, you can bring your you can bring whoever you want to.
Yeah.
It's not just. It's about building those cherishable memories. It's about going out and experience something that you normally wouldn't be able to experience, and living a life, and just being able to, like our motto for our company is, don't forget to live while you're trying to survive. And that's why our trips are at no cost. You don't have to worry about the cost of it. You don't have to worry about the strangle of regular everyday life. You get to escape for a minute. You get to be around people that understand and that you can talk to and that are going to appreciate what you got to say. You know, it ain't, you know, it's not sitting, you know, on the other side of a desk from somebody that has no idea, you know, that's never
Right.
served, that's never been through what we've been through, you know, the blood, the sweat, and the tears that we've experienced, you know, the experience of loss, of losing somebody that, you know, that was in your fire team or that
Yeah.
was, you know, one of your best friends. You know, you might not talk to them in 3 or 4 years or whatever, and you know, once we get out, there's that distance that's created, and we all go back to the life we lived before, or try to go back to the life we lived before. But you know, that's the purpose of Primal is to bring the family together. You know, get these guys out, get these gals out that feel lost.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, you said something earlier, you know, about you have one emotion and that's confusion. Well, let me ask you this: what do you think some of the veterans' family members, you know, their wife and kids, as veterans going through all this stuff, what emotion is it that you think they're dealing with? Probably, I would assume, probably the same. You know, confusion about what happened.
Confusion and frustration.
Yeah. So I think it's amazing that you're bringing them together. You know, they
What
get to see
happened
the other side of that.
exactly? What happened to the person that I knew before?
Yep.
What happened to the person that I grew up with? You
Yeah.
know, and it's across the board. It's Vietnam vets.
It is.
I've had World War II. You know, World War II vets on board. I've had Vietnam vets, Korean War vets. I've had, you know, veterans of all wars and eras,
Hmm.
and you know I can see the same thing. You know, we come back and we try to be an image of what we used to be, and it's hard. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking about that too a while back, and I remember myself. I used to be that guy that liked to be the jokester and in the center of everybody, making people laugh and everything. And I'm not that guy anymore. You know, now I'm more reserved. I stand back, and it's not that those changes you have to hate. You know, it's you just have to accept there's a new you. Um, that old you before the military is not you anymore. And you've got to learn what the new things is to love about yourself. You got to find that all over again. And it's not easy, man, because first you have to accept that you have changed and there is experiences.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that at all. You know, that's 100%, man.
And I think the reason why that process is so long, because I don't care who you are, everybody's time frame of healing and what works for them and what don't work is different. But at the end of the day, we all seem to start from that same place. We end up at some point hating ourselves, and we don't understand the new rules that are around us. You know, I'm now in the manufacturing industry, and when I got out of the military, I went straight to owning a trucking company. So I still isolated myself and stayed away. And now I'm trying to figure out all these policies and procedures. And half the shit I say, people look at me like I've lost my damn head. You know, I still call the lunchroom the chow hall, and people are trying to figure out where the hell that's at. Yeah, but you know, it just doesn't go away. But it does make your healing process longer because you've got all these other learning curves that you're trying to navigate as well. You know.
Yep.
So I got a few pictures up here, man. I want to bring some of these up, and you'll have to forgive me if my messenger pops up because some of these guys be talking too damn much. But so let me bring it up. There we go. So looking at some of these pictures, man, this is a photo you know, and I don't know any of the people or anything you guys were doing, but this is exactly what you were talking about it, you know, bringing friends and family together. Can you tell me a little bit about some of these events?
So that picture right there, that's actually one of my dearest friends. He helps me out quite a bit. His name's Seth, and that's his son Stone. He actually brought me to my first big veterans event over on the east side of the state for walleye. It's called Vets with Nets, and so his dad served. He volunteers for my nonprofit, and so that was a night where man, I tell you what, the fishing was crazy. I think we lost. We ended up catching 9 fish. I don't know how many fish we lost, but I mean, it was just absolute chaos on the back of the boat. It was just such a fun time. Um, I think my dad was on that trip. My actual biological dad. My dad was on that trip. We had quite a few great people on that trip, and that was just a all out hoot. That actually was more or less a fun fishing trip for Primal and the crew, and just a day that we could actually take a step back and think about ourselves for a minute. And man, I tell you what, that was a good time. That picture right there, that makes me smile. That wasn't the biggest king we caught, but it was one of the funner. You know, we just, like I said, we had a blast. We were I got a fish. I call it the fish be good stick on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we bring in salmon and they're still pretty green, and they like to flop around quite a bit and cause some problems. So we unfortunately we resorted to not using the stick, and I think a few fish got kicked in the head that night. But I had a bit of a mess to clean up on the back of the boat after everything was said and done. But we had a blast. That was a good night.
Well, I bet you that youngin', man, y'all created some memories he's going to remember forever. He'll never
Oh yeah,
forget.
he wants to kick every fish that comes on my boat now. He don't want to use the fish be good stick anymore. So my dad actually started that. So
Okay, yeah, man. Looking through some of these pictures, man, the fish is just amazing.
The trip before that. So the picture that you just shared before that was 2 brothers. Yep, that one right there. The guy on the right, he was a veteran. Me and him have known each other for quite a while, and then his brothers on the left, and they just kind of rekindled their relationship. They hadn't talked in years.
Yeah.
And the brother came up, and I took him out fishing, and I mean, them 2 guys, that was a really, really good trip. Them guys, I can't tell you that they were smiling from ear to ear, and to see that relationship that they had lost over all these years, you know, and not talking to each other and not communicating with each other, and to have that rekindled and see that flame really, really, just that spark of that flame really take off on the back of my boat while they're razzing each other about reeling in fish. And I mean, I reeled that in quicker, and you know, there's different lengths of lines, and salmon fishing out on Lake Michigan ain't no easy task. We got all sorts of different stuff. Some coppers are 300 foot long, so you got to reel in the planer board, then you got to reel in 300 feet of copper. Well, one brother catches one that's on 100 feet of copper, and the other brother catches one that's on a 450 foot copper. You know, well, why are you struggling with it? You know, like just, you know, giving each other a bunch of shit. It was a good time. That brings a smile to my face seeing that picture. That all these trips, man. I tell you, that's another one. You just seeing
how happy these people are.
That's a funny one, because the spoon I'm holding is actually a Bite Me Elmo spoon. So if you zoom up really, really, really close on that spoon, it's Elmo, and then on the spoon it actually says "Bite Me Elmo" on it. So catching that fish on that spoon, I've been running that spoon and trying to it's more of a novelty item, and I just throw it out there I mean, we're running 15 freaking lines, so just throwing that one out there just for more comical things and to catch a fish on it, and
Mhm.
that spoon's a funny spoon, man. It cracks people up when you bring a fish on a bite me Elmo.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So yeah, man. I mean, just looking through these pictures, you can just feel the happiness that comes from this. And the other thing that I know for a fact, and a lot of other people may take for granted, but you know, like you said at the beginning, you're a very small nonprofit, and you're doing extremely large things. I know boats are not cheap. The fuel and the tackle and everything that goes in with what you're providing, man. Um, do you guys do it based off of sponsors? Do you got sponsors that help, or do you got fundraising events that you guys do, or how do you
So
handle that?
we do a little bit of everything. So we get donations. We get quite a few donations that come in from the community and people that have seen what we're doing. We have a lot of local sponsors in our community. One of them is Lodge. It's a local restaurant. Went to school with both of the owners, and they started about the same time we did with pretty much nothing.
Mhm.
And they've grown. They're one of the best restaurants in town. As soon as I'm done eating, as soon as I'm done with this, that's where I'm going to go eat here in a few. So I
Awesome,
mean,
man.
they got some of the best food in town. But we got a lot of really good sponsors that are helping us out right now that see our vision and see our goal. We get the local marina, Gull Lake Marine. Our fuel is discounted. Any service or maintenance that we need to have done on our boats, it's all done graciously.
That is awesome.
We get a really good hand up from the local community and our American Legion, Post 49, South Haven American Legion, one of the best views. You know, we have a really, really good community here helping us out, and the local support has been astronomical. Um, I mean, words can't express. And then a lot of it, getting all this started, I spent a lot of hard-earned money that my own money,
Yep.
and the filing all the legal documents with LegalZoom, and paying for the lawyers and paying for the insurance. And then I started off. So to backtrack, and I hate to do this, but I started this company last year. um i had I'd been working, and I'd been working in an outdoor store, taught youth archery, ran all the archery leagues, really took hold of that. Did a youth veteran archery program where I had the youth and a veteran shooting together as a team with just generic bows. So somebody couldn't come in with their Matthews or
Yeah.
Bowtech or whatever. You had to shoot house bows. So I started off with all that, and then I had a job offer to go to Alaska and be a remote fishing guide in Alaska. Well, my grandpa's health wasn't doing the greatest, and I I passed up that job and quit my job. Went to the outdoor store and was working on getting my grandfather's 20-foot center console ready to go fishing. And my goal was, I had money saved up and everything, and I could make it through the summer before I had to get another job. I was going through everything with the VA with my disability, and I appreciate you, brother. I had a friend just drop something into my boat, so um, uh, I was going through all the VA appointments and everything, and it just didn't feel right to go. You know, I'd been up in Alaska for the whole summer, and on a private resort, and I couldn't do it. And something in my heart told me not to go, so I didn't go, and I started working on that boat and was getting my grandfather's boat ready. And my goal was to get my grandfather out, who was the inspiration for me to join the military. To do everything I pretty much have done in my life was, you know, my grandfather. And while I was getting that boat ready, he passed away.
Wow, man. You know, and I think what you're doing now, in a way, is kind of also a reflection on him. You're carrying his tradition because he took the time to teach you the skills that you have, and you're now teaching other people those same skills. So I mean, you're passing on his information, whether you realize it or not. You know, and that is amazing because it's not just about veterans now. Now it's about people that meant a lot to you as when you were young and needing guidance, and you're now doing the same thing for others.
Yeah, and that one was a hard pill for me to swallow, losing him. You know, it just everything that I've ever done in my life was for my grandpa and because of my grandpa. You know, and so that happened, and then about a week later, I got the letter in the mail that my disability through the VA was approved, and it was not what I expected it to be. You know, so they deemed me 100% disabled, not employable. So at that point, it's like, well, shit, I couldn't have done the Alaska. I would have had to come back from Alaska anyway.
Yeah.
You know, everything worked out in a very weird way. You know, I got my grandfather's boat. I started working with United Veterans of Michigan, another great nonprofit organization that does great things for veterans. That's how that trip with Seth was how I got linked in with them guys. With the Vets for Nets trip. And so that was just before all this, and just, I mean, the timeline of how everything worked out was very extraordinary. I mean, God had something to do with it,
Absolutely.
you know. So I got my VA disability. I was working with Vets with Nets, and I got my grandpa's boat, and it's sitting up at the American Legion and talking with another guy that ran a nonprofit. Primal Outfitters was born, and we started taking veterans. We filed all of our paperwork and everything, but United Veterans of Michigan was like, operate underneath operate underneath us as our pro staff until you get all your ducks in a row. We'll help you out with all your paperwork and everything else. And them guys, I mean, our playbook was copied from them. I mean, to not beat around the bush about it. I mean, they handed me their, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
And we were able to, you know, change it to our needs for Primal and run with it. And I mean, them guys have been in our corner from day one. And we had, you know, so I ran my grandfather's boat all last year. We did hunting trips after the fishing season ended. We did hunting trips, camping trips, you know, everything outdoors. Ice fishing wasn't as good as what we thought it was going to be. We didn't get too much ice this last year up here. So unfortunately, a drunk lady almost fell in the river. They're passing by me right now on that side. Yeah, that lady right there that just walked past about fell in the river. So so we've done, I mean, we do everything. I mean, if you can think of it, we do it outdoors. You know, if you want to go hunting, we'll go hunting. We're setting up bear hunting trips right now up in the UP. We got a guide already up there that's baiting the bears and sending me trail cam pics every day. So, I mean, if you can think of it outdoors, if we can't make it happen, I know somebody, and I've networked enough at this point where we got somebody that'll make it happen.
That's awesome.
One of our board of directors is actually up in Alaska right now doing some recon, getting, looking at halibut fishing and caribou hunts and all sorts of stuff up there. So we're looking to expand in all sorts of different directions, and we want to make dreams come true for people. We want to provide trips that that people regular, us Joes, however you want to put it, or no matter what you've done for this community, if law enforcement, first responder, veteran, active duty, we don't got the extra money sitting in our pocket, especially in this economy, to afford, nobody, and some of them can, and I'm not trying to discount anybody, some people do have that money, but a lot of the guys that I take out, they could never afford a fishing trip, like pay a charter boat. You're looking at $700, $600 for just the trip, and then you're expected to do a tip for the first mate. So some of these trips you're looking at $1,000 for a fishing trip.
I chartered a couple. They're $1,200 to $1,500.
You're looking at and that's a 6-hour trip.
Yeah.
So doing this at no cost for our heroes that have served our community and served our country it means a lot. It really does. And I've had a couple weekends ago, I brought out a guy that was a law enforcement officer for 20 years and got hit by a drunk driver, and he's now paralyzed from the waist down and an amputee. And never thought he'd be able to get on a boat or fish again or do anything outdoors again. And I was like, no, man, you're going fishing. So I spun my boat around and backed her right up to the frickin' dock and rammed her into the dock and threw his ass in the back. We didn't really throw him. He's a big dude. But we got him in the back of the boat, and him and his kids all caught fish. And I mean, like I said, to see the smiles from ear to ear on some of these guys' faces, it's the memories that's going to save a life.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And I'm sure you're going to agree with me. I have found that podcasting has helped me. I talk about a lot of things now that I never talked about before that, and the therapy going through the VA wasn't my thing either. And since I started podcasting, man, I have opened up a lot over the last few years. And I think anytime you find that you're helping other people heal, you're also helping yourself heal as well. I think that's important. And I think that's another reason why the veteran community is truly blessed, because just like in the military, we take care of our own, and you hold people accountable. Nobody can hold a veteran accountable like another veteran. And we can put that swift kick in your ass if you need it, or we can give you that hug if you need it. It's whatever is going on that day that needs to be done.
I completely agree with you, man. Couldn't agree with you more. And it's been a very, very humbling experience. Like I had a Medal of Honor recipient on my boat today. I mean, that's dude, and he was a teacher. He was a coach. He taught baseball. He taught football. He taught wrestling. So he was my football coach, wrestling coach. He was my teacher in school. And you never looked at him in that light. And then a few years ago, he got what he deserved. President Trump is Jim McLuhan. President Trump presented him the Medal of Honor for his actions in Vietnam. And then you read that citation, and it's like, damn, that was the man that that gave everything to teach me how to do a lot of things, you know, like
Yeah.
through in high school, you know, and he gave that to everybody. He was a selfless and still is a selfless individual.
Yeah. It's a damn shame that it took that long to get the award to him. You know, I'm glad
It
that he
is.
finally did. But yeah, you're talking about a war that, you know, hell, we had a 20-year war that went on, you know, and his war was 50 years before that, you know. So yeah, it's a shame, and how long it takes for them to give those awards out. Well, let me. I know you got a lot of plans and you got friends and everything up there. Where is it that people can find you, and how do they go about if they want to partake in your organization?
So we got a couple of different places. Facebook is a big one that we use. So the Primal Outfitters Inc. The Primal Outfitters Inc. on
Okay.
Facebook. You can go to the primaloutfitters.org. We have an Instagram. We got a TikTok. I got to get better about posting stuff. I'm not a tech savvy guy. But yeah, and then just reaching out. Our email, the primaloutfitters@gmail.com. Hang on, call me. Mom, you can wait. Primaloutfitters@gmail.com. Um, my phone number 269-767-4796. You can call that number anytime. We have a nurse practitioner. Gosh damn it, Mom, I'll call you back. We have a nurse practitioner, part of our staff. She's on call anytime we need her. I served with her son, Cass. Unfortunately, he took his own life, and after that, that's why she started doing what she was doing, and she just got all of her certifications for that and everything. So if somebody needs somebody to talk to besides me, you know, somebody that's more professional, there's that, you know. And obviously, if it's that serious, I don't want to discredit the VA in any way. I mean, I've had my issues and stuff like that, but was it 988 on the VA? Yep, call 988 on the VA. That's for, you know, if it's something that we can't handle. But anybody, somebody just needs somebody to talk to. They want to
And
get just walk in the woods or whatever.
and just recently they changed it now. So if you don't live near a VA and you served, whether you're getting any disability or anything from the VA, if you're in crisis and you're to that point where you're thinking about taking your life, you can go to any hospital and the VA will pay the bill. They will allow for up to, I think it's 30 days in hospital and 6 months aftercare. So there's no reason why people can't seek help. There's any hospital now and any close VA.
Yep. And that's important. That's crucial, because a lot of guys, they feel so lost, you know, and that I've experienced it, you know, like the VA ain't gonna do anything for me. And I got so kind of a funny story. I know we're running a little bit short on time. So I was scrolling through Facebook the other day, and I came across another nonprofit that's called Now or Never Outfitters. And so I shot him a message, just shot in the dark, like, hey, I see our goals and everything that we're trying to do is the same. You know, I'd like to network with you, and, you know, you help me, I help you. We scratch each other's back. We try to move forward with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I get a phone call about 30 minutes later. Spent an hour on the phone with this gentleman, and turns out he's up here. He's from Southern Louisiana. He's running Now or Never Outfitters, and he happened to be in Michigan, 3 hours away. He's like, well, what are you doing this weekend? Well, actually, we have a huge event going on this weekend. So that's that's why I'm not in my normal slip right now, is because we have a event called the Salute to Veterans. It's put on by Operation Injured Soldier and the Battle Creek VA and the South Haven Steelheaders. So we got over 30 boats that is going to be a part of this event that are going to be taking veterans out tomorrow morning. We're going to go fishing tomorrow morning, and then in the afternoon, at noon, we all meet up outside the pier head. We all come back. We stage our boats outside the pier head, and we have there's a plane fly over. The hooligans come down and they fly right down through the center of our harbor, and they do their formation. This year, they normally do the missing man formation, but they got something going on where they're gonna do some cool formation this year that they normally don't do. So they're gonna do their formation, and we do a 21 gun salute, and then a huge boat parade where the piers are lined with people with flags and all that stuff. Primal Outfitters was actually asked this year to be the second boat in the parade, which means we're the first fishing boat. The first boat in the parade is the Terrapin. It's not a fishing boat. It's kind of a yacht. I can't really describe it, but it's just a leisure boat.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a cabin on the water per se. So they'll be the lead boat, and then our boat will be the boat behind them. But back to Now or Never Outfitters. I was like, yeah, man, we got this huge event going on that I just described, and he was like, well, shit, man, I'm 3 hours away and have nothing to do this weekend. So I was like, well, come over, man. I got space on the boat. Come over and see what we do and see how we run things. So I'd like to have him be able to say a few words if we got a second. I just kind of gave him a signal, come on over. He was standing on the dock keeping some of my friends at bay. So I'm going to scoot over, and this is a gentleman that runs. Got to get in the camera here, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hey, you can sit next to me. We can cuddle. So this is our beards. So this is a gentleman that runs Now or Never Outfitters. So
How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Hey, well, we got just a few minutes, but why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your organization, man? Throw a little plug out there for it.
Oh, cool. So yeah, we're Now or Never Outfitters. Started 2017, but went official in 2018. Basically based out of South Louisiana. That's where I'm from. We have ambassadors in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, New York, and then we've got some that are coming on board in Wyoming. And we hunt and fish, and we take veterans hunting and fishing for absolutely free. And that's what we do. And our whole goal is to get veterans outdoor. I didn't have the opportunity to serve. I tried on 3 different occasions, was denied all 3 times. So it's kind of my way of giving back. And we get them outdoors so they realize there's healing in the outdoors, and it gives them a purpose, And I just sitting back listening to y'all, knowing y'all are veterans, thank you for your service, but also know that it's important when you get out, you got to have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so we give that purpose. We try to provide, they come on a fishing trip. We try to give them their first fishing rod, fishing sleeve, first little bit that they need to get started. They come hunting. We try to provide them with gear if they need gear. And again, it's at no cost. I'm one of those guys. I believe that you men and women have given enough. Why do we need to ask for more? Right.
I agree.
And so we do it 100% free. We do what we can. I'm a lot like Josh. I fund it out of our own pocket. We do have some donations that come in, and we're picking up as we build, obviously. And I believe that we're not an organization that's about numbers or statistics. We're an organization that's about family and brotherhood. So when you come to us, we want you to know that now you've got a new family that truly cares about you, that will support you. The phone rings at night because you're going through a hard time, we're going to listen. And we've got it. And so pretty much all of our ambassadors are veterans that have been on 1 or more hunting or fishing trips with us, and were impacted by what we do, came to us and want to start what we do where they live. So, the proof in the pudding.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I, like I was telling Gunny earlier, I love these types of programs. I've had several different ones on. There's one locally around here called Movets Outdoors, and they do a lot of the same thing. Mostly, they don't. I don't think they do. I think they do a couple fishing trips. It's mostly bird hunting and stuff like that, deer hunting. But yeah, they do the same thing, man. And a great organization, Deuce Outfitters, Deuce Ministry Outfitters. They're in Nebraska. They're doing the same thing, and it's just like you said, man. I don't care which organization you talk about; they'll all tell you about the healing of getting people outdoors, getting them learning new skills, thinking about what they're doing, and the instructions from it, and the sanity of being alone, or away from the noise, is healing as well.
That's right. 100%. 100%.
So I appreciate what you guys are doing. I know I'm gonna let you all get back to your event and head over to the lodge and get a big meal.
Gotta
But,
get some food in the belly.
Yeah. Appreciate the plug, man. Really do.
Hey.
Appreciate the plug.
Anytime, man. I'll reach out to you and we'll get you on on this podcast and let y'all talk about it, man. If you got other people with you, you can bring them on as well. That's what we do is we highlight veterans and 501c that are helping veterans. So that's what
Nice.
the show's all about. So
Yeah.
I'll reach out to you, brother, and we'll set a date and we'll get you on, man.
Sounds good. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
No problem, man.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. You guys take care, man, and be safe. Have a great time this weekend with that event. It sounds like an amazing time. I can't wait to see the pictures on y'all's Facebook page, man.
Oh, we'll blow the
Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll blow the Facebook page up with pictures and everything, man. We got the boat well decorated. We got flags all over the place. We got all the service branches. We got 21 flags flying right now on the boat. So
That's awesome, man.
we're gonna be looking proud coming through the harbor this weekend. And I appreciate you having us on and let me run my suck about everything that I've done and been through. And I do gotta give a little bit of shout out to Charles Terrell and his family. I got an unfortunate phone call this evening. It's a gentleman that I've been real close with over the last year and had been trying to get him out on a fishing trip. And he grew up going out on the water, and he loved Great Lake fishing. And unfortunately, he lost his battle last night, and just health wise, just had some health things going on that he couldn't hold on anymore. And it was unfortunate that I wasn't able to get him out fishing, but his wife asked me if she could still go and bring him with her, bring his ashes with her and stuff like that. So she called me tonight. So God bless his family and God bless her. And it's a huge loss to our veteran community losing him. And he was a great man. Served this country with honor and did what he had to do and went where he had to go. And it saddens my heart. So I had to pull myself together a little bit for this for this podcast because I just found out about it. So my fishing this weekend is going to be devoted to him. So every fish that we catch during this tournament, I'm going to be praising him and the Lord and thanking him for watching over me this weekend. So I know he's in a better place and he's not in any more pain. So I hope he's with me on the boat this weekend in his spirit and his soul.
I'm sure he will, man. And my prayers go out to the family as well. I know it's not easy.
So, but yeah, let's go catch some fish tomorrow, boys.
All right, man. Y'all have a great time, man. Take care and be safe.
Sounds good, son.